Intuitive viewers. Welcome back, and welcome myself back. I'm happy to be here with you. I have the last week has been a little bit nuts. I have gone through some health things and also some dental things. We got to take care of ourselves, apparently. Somebody needs to. I didn't get the memo. But yeah, so I had to slow down a little bit last week, and it was made to slow down a little bit. And I'm still trying to figure out kind of my work-life balance since doing the classes and the club and the channel. I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm right now, Debbie and I are writing the classes. So that always takes the longest period of time. It's a lot of working with my guides, a lot of downloaded information, and a lot of writing. And so once we are finished writing the classes, it seems like I can manage a lot better. Right now, I'm kind of, or at least the last couple of weeks before this, I was kind of overworking. So, Spirit speaks to us in a lot of different ways. And through this time, it was kind of through my physical body. So basically, what happened was, and I feel like I need to share this with you because I learned a couple of things and I want to share those things with you. One thing is that, and I will be doing a political thing, but I just want to share this. If you need the political stuff now, you can go forward. But I just want to let you know that, so last week I found out that I had a high acid in my blood. And that can cause, and it was a combination of things. It was a combination of my guides, my doctor, blood test that told me that. But I'll get to that in a second. But basically, when you have that, you get you get headaches, bad headaches, fever, sleeplessness. So I was going through a thing where I couldn't sleep night after night after night. I couldn't sleep, and then I would have these headaches all day long, and then I would have a fever as well. It was the weirdest, and my skin felt like it was on fire. It was the weirdest set of symptoms, and I was just like, what? And I felt really lethargic and tired and a little confused, or not confused, say that, like hard to make decisions. Like I wasn't able to access that part of the brain really well. It was really weird. And I kind of, through that, I kind of saved all of my energy and attention towards my readings that I had to do. So that was where everything went last week, because I was just not feeling well. And then on top of that, I was doing lots of dental stuff as well. So, but as I was going to sleep, I didn't know what was wrong. And as I was going to sleep one night, I heard the word alkaline. Because I was asking myself as I went to sleep, what is wrong? What is wrong? What is wrong? And because I knew I did not feel normal, I did not feel like myself at all. And I was fading. So I heard the word alkaline, and I went and looked it up. And if that ever happens to you, if you get a weird word or you're just like, I've heard that word, but I'm not really sure what it's about, that was what this was. I'd heard this word a couple times in other readings I've done for people, but I really didn't have any connection to it or know what it was or what it did or anything. So I looked up alkaline, and sure enough, it was connected to lots of fruit and fruit juices, which I've been having a lot of. And it's interesting because I was having a lot of it in a shortcut to like eating and stuff like that. So I was trying to substitute lots of like one thing for all the other things I need, and it didn't work. Clearly, it was making me sick. So I was eating drinking lots and lots of fruit juices, eating fruit, and all of that has alkaline. And in a certain amount is good. It's like kind of like salt. It's like a certain amount is good, but too much is bad. And we took in my blood test, it said the acid in my blood was too high, and that's what was causing. And then looking up the symptoms, I had all of the exact symptoms. So we kind of got it under control, and figured out what I needed to take out and substitute and that kind of thing, and get back to just a healthier balance in my life, hopefully, and in my diet and stuff. So, but what I realized was that, well, first of all, if you ask a question, and we go through this all the time, but even if you are doing this for your living and you are connected all the time, or you feel like you are, um, you're still a person going through your own journey and your own stuff. We're just human beings doing this stuff. And so it felt like I needed to let you guys know that if you're going to ask a question of your guides, they're going to answer you. They're going to answer you. Some way, somehow, they're going to get the message through. It's just our job to be alert. And once I would finish my readings, I was really like out of commission. I just would go to bed or would lay down or would, just be kind of out of energy, out of everything. And even in that state, my guides still got the message through. And it was as I was falling asleep, which is a lot of times when I get like messages where they can't get through to me during the day for whatever reason, they'll get through to me as I'm going to sleep or as I'm waking up. So that's one thing. Your guides are always going to answer you. If you ask a question, they're going to find a way to answer you, whether it's today, tomorrow, or the next day. Through someone else is a big one. They'll go through other people. Somebody will say something that will be like, oh my gosh, that's what I was just wondering about, or whatever. So just be alert. Okay. So that's one thing. The other thing is that when we get in those kinds of, especially if you grew up in a organized religion, when you get feeling that rotten and you don't know what's wrong, or when something happens, it's very easy to go into that space of, why am I being punished? What am I doing wrong? What has happened? Why did this happen to me? Get into that kind of either that fear mode or that the self-pity mode. It's very easy to go into those, especially if you grew up in an organized religion. Why am I being punished? That's a big thing, right? And I kind of went into that a little bit, thinking, what am I doing wrong? What is going on? What am I doing? Am I off track? Am I, and what I realized is that when something like that happens, I need to ask the right question. And I think the right question for all of us to ask, and I'm sure there are lots of right questions to ask, but one of them is, what am I neglecting? What am I neglecting? Because if I had asked myself that question, it would have been easy. I would have thought, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm working too much. I'm on the computer way too much. I'm not eating the right foods, really. I'm very out of balance that way. And I'm not getting outside enough. If I asked myself, what am I neglecting? It would have come up, I believe, a lot sooner. And so that's the other thing I wanted to share, and what I will do next time if I start seeing things, especially physical things that I don't understand, or I don't know what's going on. And even in life, when you get out of balance and you're kind of like, why is this happening? What is going on? What am I neglecting? What am I not paying attention to? Okay. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to pass on. I had a lot of people writing me, asking me about Putin and his holy war. He's making a holy war now. Didn't I say that he was talking to God and all that stuff? I mean, I don't want to be like, I told you. It's not like that. It's just that, of course, that's where he's going, because we knew he was like having these conversations with God, or thinking God was pushing him or on his side or listening to him. He's got to tell himself these stories as well. And I think he believes them. I think it's almost like he believes his own propaganda. That's what it feels like. So just know that is what's going on here. And we saw that, right? We saw that he was talking to God in a way that was like God was somehow involved. So the holy war thing is very interesting. And so is the Pope condemning it. I also wanted to let you know that there are rumblings in Russia. I got that message during a meditation, and what I was seeing was that there was there's very little way for us to know exactly what's going on in Russia. And partly because we don't have a lot of, Western reporters there anymore. We don't have, unless they are Russian, but then even then they're like locking them up and taking them away. So we don't have a human-based way to understand the pulse of what's happening in Russia right now. And what I'm feeling is a kind of a pressure cooker situation where people are just now starting to ask questions. It's like the beast is waking up, right? He's been poking the bear and he's waking up. And isn't that even the sign of Russia, the bear? Anyway, but it is kind of like he's been poking the bear, he's getting sanctioned, he's getting them cast out from the world, only with very few allies. And now he's trying to make this into a holy war. And you can tell, at least my guides say that you can tell how much he's in trouble by how much he changes his story. And I think that goes for everybody like him, like Trump or anybody like that. How often they change their story is how much trouble they're in. And this started with, we're going in to save the Ukrainians. And now it's a holy war between Russia and the West, right? So he's changing it up because it's not working. It's not working. It's starting to fail. And so every time he sees rumblings or he sees something, a disconnect with the people, and they're making these connections, he will, or the disconnect isn't working anymore, disconnecting them from the world. They're starting to make connections. And this ship was a big thing. And I felt like it was how I think it was Ferdinand, the assassination of Ferdinand, is that right? That started World War I. I think that's right. I hope that's right. But anyway, I feel like that ship going down set off a chain of events. And I feel like we haven't hit the crescendo yet of this, but that set off the chain of events that will lead to the crescendo. And it almost is like the crescendo. They're showing me it as like a cymbals clapping and then the sound waves coming out. And it feels like it will kind of ripple around Europe. And so I don't know if I'm actually seeing the effects of like a bomb or something, or if I'm seeing just the effects of the war. I'm going to go with the latter one just because I don't want to stand in the place of fear or making anybody fearful. And I'm not really feeling that 100%. So I'm going to say, let's stick with, it's just the effects of this war. And that's enough. I mean, right. The ripple effect of that and the families it affects and the people it affects and how it kind of ripples out around Europe. But I would say keep in the back of your mind that it could be just like one explosion that kind of ripples out and kind of touches or affects. And it could be that what ripples out is fear, or rage, and it kind of ripples through Europe. But it does feel like that. It also feels fast. And I know they keep saying, well, they could be there for years and they could be there for, months and months and months. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like I said, this whole thing about time speeding up, that was supposed to be starting this month. And I do feel like we're on an accelerated track, which means that it's good because we're going to be heading through things quickly. But the difficult side is that it will be very intense. You'll see lots of intensity. So just know that is what is we have in store for us, is kind of more intense, but quicker. And we're going to feel the effects for a while. And I think that part is important because whenever we feel effects that ripple out, a lot of times they affect change. They make change come into play. And that's what this is all about, really, is kind of things that are very, very old, dense energies that have been here for a long, long time are going to be challenged and they will be slowly they'll be let go of. They're hanging on to these energies for dear life, right? Because these energies work on the earth plane. You know, they do this. They work for a short time, and these are short-term thinkers. These people that they like instant gratification, right? I want money, you know, drugs, women, whatever. You know, it's very short-term thinking. Impress people. Have this party this weekend. It's very um, it's very centered in the short-term future. I think that Putin can see a bit far out, kind of like China. They look a bit further out. However, in both cases and this is coming from my guides. I don't know a lot of this stuff, but this is coming from my guides. These two men in particular, and Donald Trump, you can stick him in this bag too. They're stuck in the past. So they're making decisions now based on the past, trying to arrive at a certain place in the short-term future. And anytime you make decisions based on back here, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Your advantage and your possibility of always making the right decision, or almost always making the right decision, is making sure you're present, making sure you're here and now. If you're lost in the past or you're locked into the future, you're at a disadvantage because you're not in the flow with life. Life is always flowing in the now, always. So as long as you're in the now, that means just alert to what's around you, what's happening right now. So right now, I'm sitting in this room talking to you guys. I can see the light. I can see Marilyn Monroe is next to me. I don't know if you can see that. You can't really see it. I see, you know, I've got a fan over here. I've got the window. It's being aware of your surroundings with your senses. I can smell this. I can taste this. I can see, hear, feel. So being aligned with that is the most important thing. It's the most important thing we can do. So that is what's happening. And we are going to, I think a lot of us could see this period of darkness. You know, there's period of, I say darkness, heaviness, all of these heavy things kind of happening in a row. And we're not quite, if this is a mountain, we're climbing to the top of the mountain, ready to kind of like let everything go a little bit. We're not quite to the top. You know, we're waiting for this kind of crescendo. And that will be that. So in the meantime, one message I feel like I need to pass on is to not try not to dwell in that space of fear. We don't have anything to fear. We're eternal beings. We're having a human experience. Remember that as much as possible. Go to center, feel that light inside. And, you know, on the other side, it's all light. These heavy, darker energies dwell here. And that's why they have this kind of, they have somewhat of an advantage here, because these denser energies can make things happen kind of quickly. But like I said, they kind of dissipate. Light work takes a little time, but it has a longer reach. Okay. So it may feel like in the moment or right now, like, or in the short-term future, that they're winning, but you have to look at the long term. And if you are able to do that, it's so much easier, and it keeps you kind of in alignment of where we want to be, using that manifesting tool, right? So stay in that light, stay in the now, go to center. If you get scared or worried, remind yourself you are an eternal being. You don't need to be afraid. And try just not to succumb to fear on behalf of you or fear on behalf of others. Send them love and hope. We saw at the beginning of this, I kept talking about 300, how we were going to see, and people would talk about things as being like miraculous, the way that they would fight the Russians and fight back the Russians and that kind of thing. And that's what we're seeing. So I feel like my guides are guiding us through this and trying to give us a way to kind of anticipate what's coming, but also give us a solution as to where to go, what to do. And they're saying, do not succumb to fear. It's a low level energy and you just don't want to. If you go into fear, it can lead to other darker, more denser, or denser, darker, denser energies like depression, anger, fury, rage. It can lead you into all those places. All of this is started with fear, whether it's Putin or Trump followers or whatever. It starts with fear. That's the baseline emotion. So that is what my guides are telling us to do through this. As we move through this, I'm going to talk and answer your questions on Thursday night, and we'll get more into like the details of little things that you want to know that are coming. But for now, that's the advice: is go to center, find that quiet place within that you know is eternal. When you get nervous or when you get worried or when you get scared or you get angry, any of those things, go to that place of hope and love and light. Okay? Nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. We're having an experience here. We're involved in a just like the democratic experiment, right? We're involved in an experiment here. We're learning and growing as spirits in a very unique, challenging place. All right. So remind yourself of that. Don't get locked into the earth space. Let yourself, feel that connection to the eternal and know that you're an eternal being. Okay. All right, guys. I hope you're doing well. I will see you Thursday night at 6:30 normal time. Yeah, I'll see you there. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you guys had a nice Easter. I hope you're enjoying Passover. I think it ends Saturday. And happy spring. All right. Okay, we'll see you guys. Bye.